السلام عليكم، شو اخباركم كلكم؟ معاكم يوسف الرومي.
عايش كرامي.
حلقه جديده برنامج ويانا، وعندنا ضيفه مميزه
جدا.
انا ما بسميها ضيفه، انا بسميها سفيرتنا.
سفيرتنا.
راح نتكلم بالموضوع ليش هي سفيرتنا، راح نقول بالسوالف. انزين. طبعا شو اسمه، شخصيه عزيزه انا علي، وايد ساعدتني باشياء. أنا ودي أقدم حق الجميع تالي or Supertaunt.
Hi guys.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good.
Intro, we introduced you as my ambassador. So if you could just just introduce yourself, who you are, what you do.
Yeah. I mean, for anybody who doesn't know, I hang out at GX sometimes. I'm a cosplayer. My name is Tali, and I'm also a pro wrestler, which would be my Kylie Morgan name. So you might know me by both. But mostly I'm a cosplayer. I've gone to GX now twice, I think, and yeah, that's basically the rundown of who I am.
All right. I just want to, before we dive deep into what you do and how you do it, I just want to say how we say the story of how we got introduced to each other, I guess, or like how we got to know each other. As you know, Tali, I've been trying to get a girl to come to the events that I do here in Kuwait, and I've been unsuccessful at doing that.
At best.
There's a lot of stereotypes and negativity and rumors and stuff like that was all false. And this one time during Evo 2015, back then Instagram had like the discover page, like it'll show you the top 9 pictures using a certain hashtag. And your picture with Cami was like in that top 9 pictures of Evo 2015 or something hashtag. So I was looking at like 1 or 2 of the pictures, and then I saw yours, and I personally like the character Cami, and the picture was like a bit small, so I was like, is it like what, like a fan art? Is it like a figure? Is it a cosplayer? Like, so I press on the picture, and I see you, and I was like, wow, like she's like an exact replica. Like it's as if they based Cami off of you. You know, it looked like,
Thank you.
Perfect. So I was like,
yeah,
wow,
thank you.
And then like a few days after that or something, I went just randomly checking your social media, and there was one thing that caught my attention with you, is that you weren't like, I mean, that's how I felt though. I mean, it's like when I was looking at your feed, you weren't like stuck up, and you were very. Because the reason I say this is because you were actually replying to almost every tweet that was being sent to you, and
I tried to, yeah.
And you were like replying in memes and jokes and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, wow, I have a feeling that this person actually likes, like is a gamer or whatever, like hardcore.
Oh yeah.
And all that stuff.
Yeah. It's not an act.
So like I don't know, like I was like, maybe I caught you in a good mood. Maybe like if I were to check your feed again like a week later, you'd be like a totally different person, right?
I mean,
so like
catch me on the wrong week.
So like once every like 10 days or so, I would just check on your feed, and it's like the same person, replying, instant and all that stuff. So I was like, you know what? Should I try to invite her? I got this like positive vibe, just looking at your feed, and and at the time we actually did have since the very first GX we actually had a female judge, a Kuwaiti female judge, but I always wanted to bring a female from outside of Kuwait because we had like basically every country come to events in Kuwait from like as a male, but never as a female. So I was like, you know what? I have nothing to lose. Although I gotta admit, I was a bit hesitant to contact you initially, but then I was like, you know what? It's just a contact. Like nothing's gonna happen. What's the worst that could happen? I
Worst
contact you.
that happens is say no.
I contact you, and
The best case scenario happens.
I'm just like, hey, I'm so and so with such and such, and we do cosplay, blah blah blah, and we would like have a female representative. And I remember immediately, like within 20-30 minutes, you replied. You just said yes, like no questions asked. I was a bit shocked because I was like, I think she's replying to the wrong person. because you have to see it from my perspective. Every female I ever talked to, like a Westerner, all had like this preconceptions of Kuwait and what you can and cannot do, and I would get like a whole essay of negative things that they heard about them getting raped and kidnapped and whatnot in Kuwait. So you just saying yes with like no strings attached. I was like, no, she's trolling me. She's like, this is not real. And I still remember I contacted you in January and the event was in April, and you didn't even though I was the one who was telling you, hey, if you have any questions, please let me know. You were like, no, it's all good, and you didn't even talk to me about your cosplay until like, I think it was like a few weeks before you were supposed to come or something, You were like very laid back. I was like,
I feel like you're throwing me under the bus right now.
I'm throwing you under the bus? Why? I'm complimenting you. How am I throwing you under the bus?
Like,
how am I?
No hesitations, just going wherever.
Like I said, you're my ambassador, so this has a very happy ending. And
yes.
And so anyways, you come. And I was like, okay, you know what? For her, I'm gonna be the one who's gonna go pick her up from the airport because, I don't want any anything, possibly happening that would, ruin the experience or whatever. So I go to the airport, I meet you, and we've never met, and then immediately you just give me a hug as if you knew me, and I was like,
I'm a hugger.
This is weird because for 3 months or 4 months of us, contacting each other online, you were very easygoing, very easy to work with, etc. I was like, no, something's going on. So then we get to the car, we're on the way to the hotel, and I ask you, I say, Tali, so what did your friends and family or whatever say about you coming to Kuwait? And you said, I'll never forget this. You said, in general, I mean, some said, be careful and whatnot, but the majority of my friends said that I should go. I was like, really? And then you said, oh yeah, and when I told them your name, they said, oh, you definitely should go to him. I was like, whoa. Like, I barely know you. Who the hell do you know that knows me so well that would recommend you to
I know a lot of people.
And then you were like, oh, do you know who Justin Wong is? I was like, yeah. And you're like, do you know who, Ultra David is? I was like, yeah. She's like, yeah, there's like, I know these guys, and I remember them talking about their experience in Kuwait. So when I saw your email, I contacted them. I said, hey, is this the same guy that you went to Kuwait? And then they said, yes. And like, you should just go and have fun, whatever. And I was like, wow. So like, I never expected that. Like, I never expected, Justin Wong coming to Kuwait would, years later, help me get my first, female to come to my events. Like, that never crossed my mind, so it's so crazy, and I'm so thankful, that you finally did come and multiple times and, had fun. So, thank you, that's all I can say.
I was happy to be there. I mean, I talked to Justin, I talked to my friends who had gone, and they said they had a great time. Right. So, like, of course there are like concerns, but I didn't want to say no based out of fear. Right. So, just went along with it. And now I'm thankful for it.
No, but I also want to say that because of you, coming to Kuwait, I'm not going to say any names, but you were the catalyst for then basically a flood of Western females coming to events in Kuwait.
Yeah.
Like you were the start. Like I
That's awesome.
remember that the fact that you came, I got contacted by other females like, oh, we want to come now. I was like, oh, really? Now you want to come?
Now you want to come. I see.
So
Wasn't good enough for you then.
One of them, especially.
yeah. We're all salty about that person. So, anyways, Tali. So that now that's like, how we got to know each other. How we met.
Yes.
Just tell us, about your work in cosplay. Like, what came first?
Cosplay or wrestling?
No, not wrestling. Wrestling is later. Which came first, the cosplay part, or like were you a gamer before you were a cosplayer?
So I was a gamer first. The cosplay kind of came from the gaming. Um, I remember my brother had I want to say it was like a Super Nintendo. It might have been the original Nintendo, but I'm not 100%. And um, he played it for a while, and we would like play together sometimes. But then he ended up losing interest, so I would just play it for hours, and eventually I just took it, and it was just mine, and I just played. I played so many games until my parents got me a PS1 for Christmas one year, and then I just fell in love with RPGs there, and then eventually got the PS2, and so on and so forth. It just became an addiction, and it's just like my favorite hobby. So I didn't pick up cosplay until I learned how to sew when I was younger, and I just out of somewhere I just pulled out the idea that I wanted to make something that was from a game. Like I just wanted to have their clothing or dress like them. And I decided to make something,
Which was?
and I think it was Riku from Final Fantasy X.
Oh,
Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure. Anyways, I made the outfit, and I didn't even know that cosplay was a thing.
Oh,
I just kind of did it, and then my friends told me that cosplay was actually a thing. You go to conventions, so we went to a convention, and it was all downhill from there. Just spiraled into madness, and here I am.
wow. And since we're talking about cosplay, uh, what was your cosplay that you liked working on the most? Like your favorite cosplay?
That's a hard question because there's been so many that I'm quite proud of. Like,
Top three or whatever.
it could go back as far as like Terra from Final Fantasy VI. I did, and I spent forever making that when I had nothing but time on my hands. Um, I really liked making. Jeez, I don't know. I liked making Thor a lot.
Your Thor was amazing.
My Thor, yeah, I really liked making that because it was like a small piece of armor, and I wanted to like make it look all. I wanted to make it look right instead of rushing it. So, um, that was probably one of my favorites to make. Uh, yeah, I don't know. Maybe Riku.
Lightning.
Lightning is a tough one.
I remember you
uh,
were talking to me like there was a lot of work put into that one.
it was a lot. It was a lot. At that point too, I was like, I had no free time. so So I actually have made two lightnings. I've made the first one, like the default version, and I made that a long time ago. It was like one of my first projects that I really sat down and wanted to make perfect and like exact. Um, and I think I achieved that to an extent. Like I wasn't great at wig work yet, um, but the one that I made for GX, I definitely like more um, because it's like a lot more interesting and intricate, and it was like fun to make, but it was also very difficult to me because I wanted to make sure that it looked pretty much exact.
Okay. I mean, I know this is like kind of an open-ended question, but like just like a rough estimate, how long would it take to make like a work on a cosplay? Like I know some cosplays are like, you know, simple and can be done like in a couple of hours, then some can take days, but like on
Yeah.
average, like on average.
It's more like simple costumes will take days and intricate costumes take months.
Okay.
Uh,
Way off on the scale there, buddy.
yeah. Scale is a little off.
No, but you know what I mean. Like just
Something like
a guesstimate of like an average of.
I would say at least a month. So, like my lightning from the second one that I made, the one that I made for GX. I think that took me a month. I want to say a month to a month and a half to make. Um,
That's quite fast.
just because there's so many little details. There's just so many little things and like trying to figure out how something works. But something can also take days, like a Pokemon outfit or
Your suit outfit.
well, even that, like I would buy that now. I made it first. I made the Zero suit first, and that was very difficult. Um, and I later ended up buying like a printed suit version because it just didn't fit quite right. Um, so I can say that I've made it too, which is great, but
No,
ended
I
up
mean,
buying it anyways.
obviously there's some stuff you have to like buy or whatever, but the majority of your work
Yeah.
though is handmade though, right?
Yeah, yeah. Up until about this year, I've made pretty much everything I wore was handmade. Um, and it's only because now I have so much other work to do that I still want to cosplay, but it's really difficult for me to find the time to make costumes now. So sometimes, for the most part now, I'm like buying them and kind of altering them or coming up with simple stuff that I can make. Yeah, it's it's a balance.
I wanna ask you something again. It's related to cosplay. Um, I remember, I think it was maybe 2 years ago or something. You were doing a 2B cosplay from Near
hmm
Automata, and
hmm
I don't remember what the text that was written exactly said, but I think you said something like, "Oh, this is like my favorite character in Near or something," so you cosplayed as her. Something or like
Yeah,
favorite game, like one of your like favorite games of that year or something like
it
that.
wasn't. I definitely of that year. It was one of my favorites, but I love the Nier franchise.
Okay.
I love Nier and Drakengard. They're all like kind of linked, and um, 2B was just such a great character design. It's just gorgeous. So I couldn't help but want to make it. I actually made it
No,
twice.
actually, the question I was getting at was, um, the cosplays that you do, are they the majority of them? Would you say they are personal favorites of yours,
Oh yeah.
or are there like some cosplays you just like, I just want to do it. You might not even know what game they're from.
Um, those tempt me sometimes because I'll see a really cool costume design and I'll want to make it, but I don't know what it is or what it's from. But I generally stay away from those just because I feel like a fraud if I do that.
Okay.
Because it's like to me, it's still for the love of the game or the anime. So I try to do things that I know that I really like or that I had a personal connection to. So generally, it'll be like a character that I resonated with.
Yeah.
And not to say that I resonated with 2B. I don't think anybody could because she's a robot. Um, but I really like Nier. Like I really love the Nier franchise. So
She was the
that's
face.
why I chose to cosplay her because I just and the character design is amazing.
Yeah.
So
Unbelievable.
No, I just wanted to because see that's the like the whole point of these questions was basically me saying that what you do is basically genuine. Like it's from the heart.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's definitely not like oh, I need to stay genuine to myself. It's more just like I don't want to make something that I don't care about. Um, it's really important to me to make sure that I'm doing stuff that I care about. Otherwise, it's not going to come out right because I'll lose interest halfway through, which has happened.
Just to keep on the topic of games, what are your favorite games, like of maybe all time, let's say?
Oh, I have a couple.
Everybody has.
I would have to say, I definitely have to say, Legend of Dragoon was my absolute favorite game.
Really?
Yeah.
The PS1.
Yeah. I love that game so much, and it has like kind of a cult
It
following,
does, yeah.
but I love that game. And then I would probably say like the Persona series I really like. Red Dead Redemption I loved.
Yeah, I remember you used to play that
Um, I recently played The Witcher 3 and I really loved that.
one. Okay.
Um, favorite games of, oh my god,
I
there's so many
you don't
games
even
over the
have to have a list.
years.
It was just, just like a general,
Yeah.
just like, the top three, four games off the top of your head kind of thing, It wasn't like.
Yeah. Definitely those. I'm sure that there's more that I'm forgetting.
So you like I mean, if you like Legend of Dragoon, then that means you really like RPGs.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm a big RPG fan. I
Especially like the old types, like the JRPGs, like the turn-based.
Yeah, there was a time that I only played
Oh, wow.
JRPGs. Yeah, like I didn't really play other games, like maybe the odd platformer or
Right.
two, but for the most part, it was JRPGs that I could get my hands on
Nice.
and just waste hours of my life
I mean,
on.
you have to, like those games are like
Yeah.
60, 80
They're,
hours
they're,
or
they're
something
like
too.
each one
Oh
of them is a
yeah,
whole new
that's when they were good.
world to delve into.
Yeah, and like I would get to this place of I don't want to stop playing,
Yeah.
so I just would finish the
So you
game.
do random stuff, right? In the like just like
Yeah, I would just
explore.
go
Yeah,
do
yeah,
random
yeah, I do
stuff.
that too.
Yeah,
The amount
yeah.
of times I've booted up Sonic Adventure Battle 2 and just ran around the inner circle of the Chow Garden with Eggman to see how fast he can go, it's unbelievable. So and now you're trying to do anything random in an RPG? No, you're not gonna finish. You're not gonna.
Yeah,
And now like
I
updates and DLC, it's like never ending basically.
I finished The Witcher, and I don't know how I managed to do that, but I think I have 150 hours slugged because it's with the DLCs as well.
Oh, okay.
I gave up
Both
on
DLCs, the
the
entire
Baby
game.
Baby quest.
Oh, that's like the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes a couple hours to get into. I remember starting it and I was like, "What is this? I don't know if I like this."
Actually,
And
in
then
my opinion
something clicked.
on The Witcher is I got into the hype because like everybody's like The Witcher, The Witcher, The Witcher, The Witcher, and I
Yeah.
was like, I literally just finished GX 2015, and it came
Hmm.
out like 2 weeks after GX was over, so I was like, free. That's like kind of like my vacation time, like right after the event's
Yeah.
over. So I was like, hey, I'll buy it and check it out because it was getting good scores. And oh my god, the amount of bugs in that game is ridiculous.
There are a lot of bugs.
Like the core gameplay is nice, but to me it was ruined by the countless bugs, countless.
How many times did Rogue
Yeah.
moved up on top of a building?
Exactly.
Oh, roach.
Exactly. So, and then the one thing, Ali knows this, but the one thing that made me keep going in The Witcher is the Gwent minigame. I
Okay.
am a huge, huge, huge fan of Gwent. Because now they released the standalone version. I've been
Yes.
playing that for 2.5 years nonstop.
Oh my god.
I am so into that game and so good in it that I usually place in the top 5,000 worldwide whatever every month.
Oh my god. I feel like Gwent is one of those things that you either love it or you hate it, and I cannot stand it. I hate it.
There's a lot of people like that. There's a lot of people like
I
that.
hate
But
Gwent.
that was literally the only reason, and I gotta give them credit. The story was amazing in The Witcher.
It was.
But then, if you think about it, it was based off a novel, so it has to be, the story has to be.
Right.
But yeah, the bugs just, killed it for me. And that's why I'm kind of looking forward to Cyberpunk 2077, but I'm not at the same time because I'm afraid of the bugs.
I'm excited for it. I think it'll be great. But there's also apparently an undisclosed project that they're also working on.
Just actually The Witcher 4.
It might be. It might be, but it's not being called The Witcher 4 because it's not about Geralt.
No, it's gonna be in the Witcher universe. But
Yeah,
that even
yeah.
be talked about until after Cyberpunk is out because they want to
Right,
focus on
Yeah.
Cyberpunk, for now.
Yeah,
So
that's what I'm looking for.
so anyways, now that we know you like video games and like since you're a kid and everything, we want to talk about your I guess new passion, which is wrestling.
Yes.
So tell us a
Love
little bit about
wrestling.
wrestling, like
How'd that happen?
yeah, like is wrestling, is your love for wrestling as old as video games, or is it something
No,
current?
no, it's not. Wrestling, oh, it's a kind of a crazy story. So wrestling came into my life via my ex. He was watching a Brock Lesnar Paul Heyman promo one day, and I came up behind him and I asked him, "What are you watching? What is this?" And he said, he turns around and he's like, "This is Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman. You should know who this is." I guess it was that bad of a story. Damn, okay.
Brock Lesnar
So,
and Paul.
Brock,
Oh, okay.
yes, he should know. He told me I should know who this is and sat me down and kind of
Oh.
introduced me to wrestling as a whole by watching WrestleManias 1 through 10. And it was kind of Clockwork Orange style where I eventually just liked it. Anyways, yeah, that's how he introduced wrestling to me, and I kind of got super into it. And I mean, we both got really into it, and really liked watching wrestling. So he'd show me some old stuff, and then I started watching new wrestling on my own just because it was on, and it just kind of spiraled into an addiction from there. And there's a theme in my life where I get interest in something and then it spirals out of control into an addiction. So I just fell in love with wrestling. And one day I decided that I kind of wanted to try it just to see if I could. And I went to him and I asked, "What do you think of me being a wrestler?" It took all of my courage to say this. And he looks up at me and says, "I think I would break up with you." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Absolute coward.
You couldn't handle it. So I kind of gave it up for a little bit, and I was like, "No, like I'm not gonna choose this weird pipe dream over my 7-year relationship."
Right.
He ended up cheating on me and leaving me for somebody else anyways. So the next day I was like, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it. Signed up for Lance training.
Your training though.
I needed a outlet.
How bad does that look right now?
I mean, he later apologized and everything. We're cool now, but I ended up going to training about 6 months later with Lance Storm, and ever since I've just been like, I need to do it more. I need to wrestle more. I need to go further. I need to do it more. So now it's just my life. And that's all I do.
So I mean, what's interesting for me is when I found out that you like wrestling, I thought it was something, from a long time ago because you're from Canada and because Canada has such a rich history of
Yeah, you would
wrestling.
think so.
So when you said it was like current, I was like, what?
Yeah, you would think so because I live in Calgary, which is a wrestling pillar
Right,
of Canada.
right.
But I knew the Hearts growing up. Like I went to school with some of them,
Oh.
but I didn't really know about wrestling, and I didn't know anybody to get me into it. So it took up until I was like 24 to find out that I really loved it.
Okay.
And unfortunately, I should have just started right then and there.
Right.
But here we are.
Hey, you never know.
But the weird thing is, even though it's relatively new, we all could see your reaction to the Undertaker and those guys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love those guys.
Alright, she likes games.
Yeah.
She likes the game cosplays.
Yeah.
But when the wrestlers came out, she went crazy. So she must love
Oh,
wrestling
yeah.
more than games. That must be her ancient childhood.
Yeah, exactly.
Childhood.
Because like,
No.
love,
I've just seen so many video game cosplays. I haven't seen that many wrestling costumes together at once.
no, I didn't like because I was during the GX cosplay contest. I was kind of on the back to the side, so I couldn't see the judges or anything like that. So
Yeah.
I didn't even know that you were like into these guys and their like performance and everything until I think the last day of GX, like 2 days after the cosplay
Oh, yeah.
contest was over, and then I remember like on your Instagram feed, it was like all you were like taking pictures with them and talking about wrestling on your feed. I was like,
Yes.
what? Like
Yes.
she likes cosplay? She likes wrestling too now?
Yes. Yes.
Like I was very,
Those
very,
guys were awesome.
very, very surprised. So then, like I guess tell us a little bit about who Kylie Morgan is.
So Kylie Morgan, depending on the day that you find her, could be a good person or a bad person.
So basically, a heel
I have
or face.
two. Right. I have two characters, and
A heel in wrestling. They call how heroes and villains.
Okay.
They call them heels and faces. Face is like the hero,
Okay.
and heel is like the bad guy.
yeah.
Okay. You learn something
He's
new.
he's a mark.
Yeah. Should I leave?
It's real to me, damn it. So Kylie Morgan, when I'm a face, she's it's basically just me, an anime cosplay girl. All my gear is anime themed. Very
Moves as well?
bouncy, bubbly. Yeah. I try to do like little poses after I do moves, and like their magical girl poses.
Like Sailor Moon stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But when I'm a face, when I'm a heel, sorry, I'm kind of a mix of like Regina George from Mean Girls and Cher Horowitz from Clueless to like teen movies, and they're like just like super like the popular Mean Girls
Yeah.
kind of thing. So that's my character when I'm a heel, and both have ups and downs for me. I really enjoy doing both of them, but obviously I relate more to being a face. I don't relate to being the mean girl, but apparently I can pull it off pretty easily.
Uh-oh.
Gotta be careful.
I'm believable. People think I'm believable as a mean girl.
So if
So
someone wanted to watch you wrestle, how could they do that?
yeah, I don't put a whole lot of my wrestling up yet, just because I'm not super comfortable putting it out online yet. However, every now and again, I'll post something on my Patreon. I try to do wrestling vlogs there, where it's like my entire trip of this is how I got to the show, this is me at the show, my thoughts afterwards. And
But not the show
those
itself.
are great. I'll put in little pieces of it, yeah. I wouldn't put in like the whole thing, I'll just take highlights.
Okay.
If you really wanted to watch me wrestle, before I start putting it out on my social, um, you could look at the promotion that I'm wrestling for, and sometimes they put their shows out online,
Okay.
uh, and that's about it right now. But I will eventually start putting more wrestling on my social, but I just have to get a little bit better first.
No, it's
All
understandable.
right, so right now it's Patreon or whoever you're dealing with at that time.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
So then maybe like in a few years me and Ali can say we actually personally know like a wrestling superstar.
I hope so.
We will be saying that.
We will be
God
saying
damn
that.
it.
Yeah,
I
we gotta
hope
be
so.
positive.
I hope so.
And the last thing I just wanted to touch on is just tell me about just your experience coming to Kuwait. Um, like, what was like the something that stood out for you, like in the expo or even the country, but specifically the expo?
Probably how nice everybody is. I didn't expect, or I don't know what I expected, but I went in with an open mind, and everyone was just so kind and happy to see me that that was the thing that really left an impression on me, how nice everybody was to me. Like there, a lot of gifts too. Like everybody had a gift for me, and it was just so sweet. Like I actually still have one here. Someone from Kuwait gave me this. It's a little,
Hey.
Yeah, we can see it.
it's a little AJ. My little AJ Styles. Um, yeah, I just how nice everybody was, and the city itself. Just it was a nice city. It was a nice place to be in. Just uh, I don't know. It's like kind of like a little vacation over there.
What do you think of how we have our times like the opposite? Like we start in the evening and end at night. Like,
Yes,
what did you think? Because I know
it
initially
worked
you
for
were
me.
like, what? And then you got used to it. I remember.
Yeah. I remember the first time I had some jet lag problems, but the second time was totally fine. Um, and it works for me. I mean, it used to work for me, not maybe not so much anymore, but I used to go to sleep pretty late
Okay.
and like stay up all night anyways. Um, I don't mind it, especially because it's so hot out during the day. You don't want to go
Exactly. Yeah.
outside. Like, there's no
It's not like
reason to
I'm
go
doing
out
it because
there.
I want to. It's like I have to.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of liked it. It has like a very chill vibe to go out at night all the time and just hang out all night.
Right.
So I liked it. Yeah.
And I just want to say that, and this is the good thing of having different people come and giving you their own perspectives. Um, there was something that I didn't realize until you mentioned it, which is how some of the girls in Kuwait, their cosplay, they would cover certain things on their bodies in a
Yeah.
way that doesn't really ruin the cosplay, like their skin or whatever, but like by using like cloth that looks like skin or whatever. And I
Yeah.
didn't even like notice that for like years until you mentioned,
Yeah.
so
It's a
it's
clever
always nice to have like
little
a
little
different
trick.
perspective on things.
Yeah, it's a clever little trick to take a costume and make it culturally or like personally
Right.
acceptable. And I am all for that. I think it's fantastic. Cosplay should be something that everybody can do. It doesn't have to be like, nobody needs to be walking around half naked, but some of us do, and that's totally fine too. But the fact that they still found a way to be comfortable and also express that fan perspective is like it's really awesome. And it's it was a great thing to see, and especially how well they do it. The cosplayers over there are just so talented. I really enjoyed them. I still follow
Yeah.
them, a lot of them on Instagram, and I think that they just do really well for what they have over there because I know that materials are a little bit more difficult to
Right.
come by.
Right.
Um, so it's just that extra step of planning. But they were just awesome. They were really awesome and so theatrical. I remember.
Yeah, I know that's the one thing people tell me about, when they come to see the cosplay here, is like you guys put on a show. It's not just like a catwalk. It's like an actual,
Yeah.
you know,
No, they were
like,
very
show.
theatrical.
It's like, with like
Yeah.
jumping and kicking and punching and
Yeah.
breaking stuff.
Yeah. It was very cool. It was very cool.
I think
I really enjoyed it.
I could have had my back break in one of the performances.
Dr. Mysterious.
With Dr. Mysterious.
You got thrown a sandal thrown at you.
No, I threw the sandal.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I threw the sandal at him while I was in the crowd, and then I walked out. It was part of the act. All right, but there was one time I think in on top of 360 where we were acting out a fight, and he hits me, and I have to jump back and fall on the ground. So I jump back and I fall on the ground, unbeknownst to me, between my head and the table that was there. God knows why it was there. Was like less than 30 centimeters. On stage, and after I finished, I walk out, and then I see a video, and I fall like it's so close. And then they removed it right after our performance. Like, Jesus
Of course.
Christ!
You almost gagged.
Thank God I didn't hit that for cosplay performance. Jesus,
Not worth it.
Anyways, Tali, we're pretty much at the end of the episode.
Oh wait!
Oh.
There's one thing.
Oh, there is one. Okay.
The picture.
Yes, the picture.
Your favorite.
Oh yeah.
Picture.
Yes.
The picture.
How could you forget?
Oh, how
your
could I?
favorite picture?
How could?
Oh my goodness. How could we forget?
God, my favorite picture of GX 2018. Okay. So, there is. Okay, it's a good thing I gotta put it here. All right. So, Tali, thank you, Ali, for reminding me.
You're welcome. That's what I'm here for.
So, this, I want to, in about 10 seconds, I'm going to show a picture on screen, which I consider the picture, the picture of GX 2018, which was last year. It's basically, the reason I like this picture is because it has everything that I was looking forward to when I have these, people like you come to Kuwait. Let me just put it right there. It's now shown on screen. It's you taking, a walk on the the beach side, the seaside in Kuwait, and
Yep.
the shot. Everything about the shot is perfect.
It's magnificent.
And you would never know, this picture was taken in Kuwait or California or Hawaii, whatever. And I remember I showed at the time I showed a lot of people my friends and stuff this picture. I'm like, hey, what do you think of this picture? I would just be as if it was some random picture from the internet or something, and they would be like, oh yeah, it's it's nice girl, nice scenery, nice whatever. And I was like, where do you think this was taken? They're like, I don't know, Venice Beach, Miami. I was like, think again. They're like, where? I was like, Kuwait. They're like, what? No way. So yeah, I really like this picture.
It's because I think the Kuwait towers are just out of frame.
Yeah, you're just out of frame.
Yeah. Yeah.
If they took a picture of the Kuwaiti towers, you wouldn't get the scene with the palm trees.
Yeah, exactly.
So whoever did this is a genius.
It's Vanessa.
Vanessa.
It was Vanessa.
She's a genius. She's a genius.
Vanessa was, speaking of Vanessa, she was awesome. Okay? I absolutely loved, when she came with you the second time.
In 2018.
She was actually chanting and doing that X thing for the wrestling.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
She was
No,
so into it.
She's just as big a wrestling mark as I am.
So anyways, Tali, thanks again, for coming on the show and talking to us. It's always a pleasure.
No problem.
And if people want to follow you, what's your where can they follow you? What's your social?
Basically, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram, both as at Supertaunt. Um, and that's really about it. I don't really use my Facebook anymore. It's just not worth it to me. So if you're looking for my stuff, go there. My Patreon also has a ton of content that I don't post anywhere else. That's really about it right now until I can wrestle in a city near you. Um,
Hey, it could be in Kuwait. You never know.
Could be, could be.
you never know.
Yeah.
Wrestling is quite big over there.
Well, anyway,
It is
Sally,
quite big.
thank you so much. It was again just a pleasure to talk to you, and all of us look forward, to seeing you again. Hopefully, very, very, very soon. So
Hopefully, I'd love to come back out.
yeah, thank you. So if you could just stay on the line with us just for like a minute. We're just gonna change scenes. الحين خلاص خلصنا الحلقة.
خلصنا الحلقة.
انزين صراحة وايد استانسنا نتكلم معاها نسولف وياها. انزين وعندنا ضيوف احنا نعلن عنهم ان شاء الله very very soon. انزين راح ناخذ شوية بريك، احنا متفقين راح ناخذ بريك، راح نعلن عنه بعدين ان شاء الله. ويعطيكم العافية يا جماعة، وان شاء الله نشوفكم الحلقة الجاية ان شاء الله.
مع السلامة.
مشكورين.